This is Lewis Hart for Boxing Social in association with Empire Fight Store Forged Irish Stout. Delighted to join with Frank Warren here at Milos in, I suppose, in London. We just finished a lovely Greek dinner. Do you enjoy it? How are things?
I'm great. I mean, I enjoyed it. Did you enjoy your lunch?
I absolutely loved it, mate. My first time, so I'm very grateful, mate.
Nice lunch, and we all had a good time, and just chilling out and talking with Hamzah. Our other guys are all away, otherwise they'd have been here. They've all taken a break, but he's in town, so it was good to get him along.
Absolutely. I suppose good to see Hamzah in great spirits after his big win against Inoue Williams as well.
It was, and he's in a very good place at the moment, coming off a really good win, and it's onwards and upwards for him.
Obviously, just reflecting on Saturday night, a very successful one for yourself. The whitewash, it's been heavily documented how successful a night it was for yourself. But I suppose in an overall picture, how happy were you with the whole event on Saturday night and how it went?
Well, I'm very happy because all our guys won, and they won in style, and it was exciting in really good fights. They weren't like one-sided fights. They were excellent competition, and they all came through, and they've done the business. And world champion, interim champion, final eliminator, another one. Willy got himself into a position where he's in for an interim title against Buatsi. Big Bang got himself well and truly back in the picture again, so I'm delighted.
When you see Willie Hutchinson get that upset win against Craig Richards, did you feel? I felt a lot of people felt like it was an upset. When you felt like that go your way, and you feel like we're on for a really good night here?
I'm not being an after-timer. I've said it before. I said I feel all of our guys are in fights that for me were winnable fights, and they all won their fights. I'm not being a smart ass. I mean, I said that before, and it weren't about saying that to create some publicity and whatever. I genuinely believed that, and they all did what they had to do.
And just touching on Hamzah there, a guy you've been with since the start and having that journey with him now, to reap the rewards, and I suppose he's within touching distance of a world title, if not a massive domestic fight. It must feel good that a guy that you put your faith into, and he's like, I suppose all the guys you've guided, he's like the next one coming through, I guess.
Well, that is absolutely right. We did do that, and he's each time he's fought, he's stepped up and done the same thing as Daniel did. It's the same situation. We put our faith in him. He had a couple of little setbacks on the way, but he's kept true to what we believed in with him, and has delivered.
He wants Chris Eubank Jr. On the Wembley card. Ideally, that is the number one fight, number one target for him.
I'd love to see that fight, and I'm sure everybody would in this country. Two massive big punchers, younger guy, the older guy. It's got all the ingredients for a superb fight for the fans.
Just touching on another fight there, Zhilei Zhang, Deontay Wilder. Obviously, your man Zhilei Zhang won in a great win. But I suppose focusing on the Deontay Wilder side of things, you've obviously been involved with him when he fought Tyson Fury and been involved with him in fights. What do you make, I suppose, the future of Deontay Wilder after getting stopped against Zhilei Zhang?
I'm a massive fan of Deontay. I like him as a person. I've sort of met him a lot over the last couple of years, obviously, with being with Tyson and whatever. I think he's a really nice guy. He was been a magnificent champion. 6 years he was world champion. Big, massive puncher. Biggest puncher probably of his generation. In two iconic fights with Tyson. Take the one out the middle, which Tyson I thought done a job on him. But two iconic fights, exciting fights. He has nothing to prove now. Big Bang showed what he was about, and in his last two fights, Deontay Wilder's not the fighter he was. And that happens to not just boxers, that happens to everybody in life. Probably going to happen. Hopefully not too soon. It's going to happen to me, but it happens, and I don't want to knock a man when he's down, but I don't want to be seeing him fighting guys on the way up. I think he's too good for that. I think he's got too much respect in the business to be doing that, and I think it's time for him to look at doing other things, maybe in boxing or whatever he wants to do, but to be happy in his life. He's paid his dues, he's made good money, and he's left his mark as being a 6-year world champion. How many guys do that?
Definitely. So, like, do you feel like now that there's no, it needs to, obviously his mum asked him to sort of retire. So do you think that, it's not your decision, but
his mum's his mum, and his mum's telling him how she feels. She's worried about her son, and she's giving him good advice, in my opinion, for what it's worth.
Just reflecting back on the 5v5, when it comes to like you bringing homegrown talent through and the guys you've had from the start, obviously not just Sheeraz but Dubois and Ball as well, who both picked up like versions of world titles. It must feel nice where you put faith in guys and like the rewards are reaped as well.
When we picked the weights and picked our fighters, we put our fighters in to win the fights, and they've delivered for us and delivered more importantly for themselves. And Queensberry's about developing young guys and bringing them through, young talent, nurturing them, putting them in the right fights, making the right fights at the right time. And most of the time we get it right. Occasionally we get it wrong, but most of the time we got it right. We certainly got it right on Saturday. And we got a tranche of youngsters that we've invested in over the last 4 or 5 years who are on the cusp of delivering and getting us and becoming world champions. And on Saturday we got a world champion. We got a guy who's the interim champion. We got another one, as I said, I've said all this already. They've done what they had to do. They've all done magnificently well, and we've got another, tranche of fighters coming through who are going to do the same thing, in my opinion.
Just touching on that Wembley card on the 21st of September, His Excellency made it clear about potential plans for Naoya and Inoue to fight on there. We know he's undisputed at super bantamweight, and the next division for him is featherweight. Do you think a fight between him and Nick Ball is possible?
I don't know. I'm here. He's going up in weight, and we'll see. We'll see what a fight that would be. It'd be an unbelievable fight. We'll see.
So touching on unbelievable fights, Anthony Joshua, Daniel Dubois. That is the one that's touted. You obviously went on TalkSport, and ideally that is the fight that headlines Wembley.
I'd love that fight for Daniel, and I'd love that fight for everybody. I mean, who wouldn't want to see two Brits, two massive big punchers? The young guy and the older guy. Who wouldn't want to see that? It's a fabulous fight. There's no doubt about it. That would sell out like that, and I hope we can get it done.
Do you think it has that added incentive with it being domestic, the sparring rumours that they have, and the domestic rivalry on GB? It makes it a bigger fight.
If it was made the fight, all those stories will obviously help generate. But you know what? You're not going to need any of that to sell it out, because soon as if we did it, if it could be done for the Riyadh season, then that would sell out in a heartbeat. It's a massive selling fight.
You've done a lot of shows in Saudi Arabia now. I think obviously done a lot throughout Riyadh season, and one of the common criticisms, and recently it was this past weekend, one of the common criticisms is always the atmosphere. I was there.
Was there an atmosphere?
It was good, but just saying sort of the general consensus of, yeah.
Was you there?
I was there, yeah.
Was there an atmosphere?
I enjoyed it. I thought the atmosphere was good, yeah. Obviously, I would say for a few different to a UK atmosphere, but respectful in its own right.
Of course. First of all, you've got an audience of neutrals. They're not partisan supporters of the fighters, they're neutrals, and they got behind it and they enjoyed it, and there was an atmosphere, and it pisses me off. Why we got to keep finding fault with something? Was it a great night of boxing? Were they not great fights? So now you've got the arseholes out there who bring this shit up, including yourself bringing it up. What relevance is that? Was Tyson and Usyk, was there no atmosphere?
There was, but I'm just saying, is it time to just accept that that's how it is going to be?
I'm sick of hearing this crap. It's just like, and if there was a load of fucking Brits there who got drunk on a plane coming over and they were all singing Sweet Caroline, and then what? We'd find something else to moan about. Do me a favour. It is great boxing. Go to Japan and watch Inoue. You spoke about him. Go and watch one of his fights. You're a pin drop. You know why? Because that's their culture. And you have to respect other people's culture. And you're taking something into another territory where boxing, to be quite honest, it's not ingrained in that population sporting psyche. So, but it is happening and it's building. We only did the first show we were involved with happened in October. It's not even a year ago. It's 9 months ago. And look at the fights that have been on there, and there has been that great atmosphere. And all these armchair critics who are not there, they get it wrong. But you know what? I don't give a shit about that. I'm not interested in that. All I know is you are seeing the best fights in the best competitions, excitement. And if you want, and if you're not, if the boxing don't do it for you, what's the point of even watching it?
So the point I was making was like, is it time? Just people just it's not the UK, so just accept it in its own right. Is the point I was making?
Do you know what? For me, I couldn't give a shit. I know what I'm watching. I've been in this business a long time, and I'm watching great fights. I'm watching great fights where there is an atmosphere, with a neutral crowd, people who are there. You go and put a fight on. I've done fights where I brought two Yanks to fight each other, or two foreigners have come in at a venue. Been a great fight, and people are absorbed and they watch them, and they then buy into it and they start. I've done that over the years. You talk about neutral atmosphere. You talk about atmosphere. How many times you go to a show and it takes until the semi-final, the fight, the main support bout before people come out the bars to watch. You been there seeing that?
Yeah, of course.
A quarter empty. They're there watching. Stop this nonsense. Watch what you're paying for. I buy a ticket. You know what I buy a ticket for? Go and watch a fight. Yeah. You know, I pay pay-per-view. I want to watch a fight. I just sit there going, oh, I can't hear this, can't I? What fucking nonsense is it?
That's completely fair enough. So we'll move on. Just a last couple from myself, and it's I know it's a question that I've asked you so many times, but obviously it is more relevant now considering the tweet. Anthony Yarde made a tweet a couple days ago saying about him a free agent. This provoked a response from Queensberry saying, there's still one fight left. Do you think that this could end up in a? So yeah,
we didn't say that at all. What we said is that he has contractual obligations to us, and that is it. And he's got his view, we've got our view. Our barrister's told us where we're at. No guy, he's got his people have told him, and he'll be determined. One of us is going to be wrong, that's for sure, and it won't be us.
I was going to say, do you see this potentially sort of him honouring that contractual obligation?
Look, where we're going with this, if it winds up going the full distance and we win, yes. We lose, no. But we'll win.
So just a final one from myself. Obviously, a little bit of a break from Saudi Arabia, but a very sort of stacked domestic schedule. Magnificent 7 on July 20th, and then another great fight on July 27th with Juice and Chisora. So a lot to look forward to in not only just in Saudi, but in the UK as well.
That's right, and it's been that ripple effect, isn't it, from Saudi? All those great fights that have been on there. It's affecting everybody. And the big fight on the 21st of September, which will be announced this month. So there's some really good things happening. It's exciting times for boxing at the Riyadh season, which is the capital now of world boxing, and great fights in the UK, and a fabulous card on August the 3rd in LA as well, part of the Riyadh season. It's just electric, it's alive. We're seeing great fights with all the great fighters fighting each other.
Absolutely, Frank, thank you for taking time to speak to me. I appreciate it. Thank you for the lunch as well. It's something that I've very, very much enjoyed.
Get your marigolds on your wash.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.